Hi, Taurus Sun and Rising. Welcome to a video looking at 3 things that I want you to know for the rest of 2025. It's Raina here, and this is not the whole list of important transits by a long shot, but I thought it would be fun just to kind of give a little tease or preview for some upcoming events because right now I'm recording this in early April, and we have just had the eclipse season go by. Of course, it certainly may still be in play for some people in April and even beyond April, maybe for the next 6 months. But just in terms of direct dramatic effects, yeah. So I just wanted to at least pick out 3 of them. This is not going to be too long of a video. Number 1, Uranus goes into Gemini on July 7th in the second house that you rule, Taurus. Now, Uranus has been in your sign in the first house, and this, I always look at the first house as kind of the ground zero for our lives as a whole, the foundational house. And so when a significant planet is hanging out in the first house, I feel like this can affect the person's life in many different ways. It's like it's not just one thing. Now, the first house is the body, and it is the way that you carry yourself, and so those things can be altered. With Uranus, you may have felt this general feeling of wanting to be more different than you are. Taurus is a conventional sign, so you tend to kind of just follow the herd, and I don't mean that in a bad way. You just don't necessarily want to stand out. Although Salvador Dali, I think he was a Taurus. There are some interesting Taurus sun signs who are not, who almost seem like they're like Aquarians. Dali, maybe I'm wrong about his sun sign, but another one is, I think David Byrne of Talking Heads is a Taurus. I might be wrong on these things. And then Peter Gabriel. And both of those guys are very experimental as musicians. So when Taurus, you experience Uranus in that second house, starting on July 7th, and this is, by the way, a general reading. It's not going to be, July 7th isn't going to be when Uranus goes into your second house for everybody here. I have Taurus rising. I'm a late degree Taurus rising. Therefore, I actually have some Gemini in my first house. So it's not going, I can't remember when it's going to do that, but it's not going to be on July 7th for sure. But anyway, it'll eventually go into that second house, and you rule this house. So this is a fixed earth house. What that means is that you're the kind of person who likes things to be predictable. Some people complain about predictability. You like when you can count on life to show up the same way day after day. The problem is, or I don't know if you call it a problem, well, first of all, is that what we're here for? Are we here for just a comfy life where, we're just keeping our bodies alive and we're not really getting too far out into any other exploration beyond the physical? Well, I don't think that that's true, but everybody has their own opinion on that. But on top of that, growth happens when we're not just sitting pretty, in our comfort zone. Although I have joked and I've said, what's wrong with the comfort zone? Having Taurus rising, I'm like, why should we be uncomfortable? Well, it's not about discomfort, because believe me, You can have everything on the surface that's taken care of. Money in the bank, your health, you could have everything and you could still feel empty inside. It's not enough. And I think it's not enough because we didn't come here for that. So when Uranus is in your second house, and this is the house that you specialize in, Taurus, I feel like you have this great opportunity to really be experimental with how you earn money. Uranus rules technology, it's the ruler of Aquarius. So, first of all, just by being the ruler of Aquarius, we can talk about being out of the box, not doing things in a conventional way. Oh, and because this is the house of the money that you earn and your assets in general, your money in general, I think cryptocurrency can be big because it is with electronics, with technology, and I'm just saying that's how you can benefit. Maybe that'll be your investments, but I'm not giving any financial advice, just to let you know. But earning money through the internet, for sure. And if you're somebody that hasn't done that, like that's what I already do. But if you're a Taurus person who may have a day job, that could kind of also give you a hint about what's going to be coming down the pike. Not to say maybe you do keep your day job, but you start your own business. And it's not necessarily something that is so grandiose at the beginning. It might be something very simple that you're doing, but over time, it could definitely work out that way because Uranus is known for being unpredictable. So you can make the case that when somebody has Uranus in the second house, their finances become unpredictable. Feast or famine. But I think that if you are playing your cards right and you're doing it correctly, the unpredictable aspect of it could be that you could suddenly, it's like quantum leap financially. Like you have this baseline that you're always making pretty much, and then you just kind of go up 3 levels because it was time for that to happen. Uranus is ahead of its time and it's very intuitive. The Uranian part of that is very intuitive, and so it might be something where you see that growth, but it's not necessarily uniform. It's happening erratically. Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is connected to astrology, so some of you may already be interested in astrology. Who knows, by the time this transit's over, it might be something you do. I think even like energy healing, I associate Reiki and stuff with Uranus. Not sure if that's, necessarily accurate, but I get to decide how I choose to connect the dots, I guess. So I'm going to go with that. Number 2, September. September is a big month for Taurus. And first of all, for the first 3 weeks of the month, the sun is in Virgo, which is a fellow earth sign, so it trines your sun or ascendant. And the trine is the most positive angle. I don't like to say positive or negative, but it's cooperative, meaning that it's easy to manifest things. And the great thing about this particular September is there are going to be eclipses in both Virgo, fellow earth sign, and Pisces, which sextiles you. So both of those can be, they both are beautiful angles. So let's start with the lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is actually going to be on September 7th, and it's at 15 degrees of Pisces. And I happen to have my moon at 15 degrees of Virgo, so that's going to be a direct opposition for me. And some of you may have, if you're around that 15-degree mark, it's going to aspect you. So this is in the 5th house, which is the house of, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Virgo. This is in the 11th house, which is the opposite of the 5th. And this is the house of gains. So this is actually a financial house. It's the 2nd house from the 10th house. So it deals with your profits from your business or your work. A lunar eclipse is a very powerful full moon. Full moons are times of fruition. They're times of endings in some cases, but they can be culminations, or what we could call fruition, meaning that the thing that you have been working on is finally blossoming. And because this is the house of gains, you could be, have some project that you've been working on, and now it finally materializes, or, the financial side materializes. So that could be quite lucrative, because maybe you've been trying and now it's finally going to work. This is the house of hopes and wishes. So that can be a time of fruition of some of your long-range goals. So that's exciting. And then that number 3 is the solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo on the 21st of September, which is the day before the autumn equinox in the northern hemisphere, spring in the southern. So this is the anaretic degree, the 29th degree, the critical degree. So that is very powerful in and of itself too. And it's, so, I think of like the critical degree, if you're talking about like a solar eclipse, it almost carries a vibe to me of a lunar eclipse or a full moon type of a vibe, versus a solar eclipse, because it is at that late degree. So it's like it has all this information that it is working with to manifest what it will manifest in this 5th house. I like to see solar eclipses like new beginnings on steroids, or planting the seeds for new beginnings on steroids. This 5th house is the house of love and creativity. But love can also be the dating scene. So when when the solar eclipse is in the 5th house, you may get a lot of opportunities to date Taurus. Hopefully we're talking about just single Taurians. And this can be like a good thing, right? That you get to date if you are single. I think the more the merrier, but listen to me. I'm talking about dating. I'm not talking about anything else. Getting to know someone in terms of their personality. Because the 7th house is the house of committed partnership, and that's when it's something that is more solidified. But dating and true dating, what some people call dating is really just, sex and dinner. It's not really, the real deal, the real McCoy. So I'm talking about that. And if you are an artist, this should be a very productive time for you going into 2026, because it's actually, we're talking about the last few months of the year, and eclipses can, last 6 months or so. So that can be very good for your love life and your creative life and just like your fun life, because the fifth house can be amusements, pastimes, things you do for fun, hobbies. All of these things, you can plant new seeds for new hobbies that can give your life more meaning, more fun, more growth. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. If you would like a private reading, I do like personal transit readings. I do chart interpretations, and I have a package deal that saves you money and combines both of them, but they're both full-length readings, at least an hour in length. I look for the transits for the next 12 months. Whenever you order the next 12 months, I look at. And it's going to be a lot more accurate than this because it's going to look at your actual natal chart. And if you're listening for the sun in Taurus, and especially if you don't know what your rising sign is, it'll open up a whole new world for you. You can find out, that's called my deep dive reading. I have other package deals, including one with the tarot as well, full-length tarot reading called the whole enchilada. And I have love readings, career readings. You can find out more information at the link below. Thanks for listening. Bye.